most common and important processes that you can do in your SharePoint is the approval process. This is what most of our customers do with our product in their SharePoint installation. But approvals are sometimes a little bit complicated to set up and implement. It's either a very simplistic system that doesn't really match the reality, or a full-blown development task that takes a long time to implement. That's why we added our new approval control to Ultimate Forms. With it, you can implement sophisticated approval processes quickly and easily directly within your modern form. Let me show you how a simple approval process would run. I'm adding a new item, and already by doing so, I'm triggering a new approval process running in the background. You can see that the process is now in progress, and there is also a progress bar that shows you at what stage of the approval we are. And this is a very simple process. It's just one single approver. As I'm also the approver, I'm seeing the new email in my inbox. I can directly from the email go to the item, view the item, and approve if I want to. So you can see here, I'm seeing the same exact form, but now there's an additional section called approvals. You can see that I can leave a comment, in this case is optional, and I can approve or reject. And below here, you can see the full log of all the approval stages. As I said, very simple process, just one stage right now. And once I approve, the status automatically changes to approved, and I'm also getting a notification about it. Let's see how it's done. In this case, we're going to develop a slightly more complicated approval process. I go into Form Designer, create a new form, and I want to drag this new approval control directly on the form. Once it's there, I can configure its settings. Basically, everything is already pre-configured for me. I don't really have to change anything except for specifying which approvers they're going to be. But let's just go over the settings quickly. So the process can start when the item is added, when the item is modified, or manually with a button on the form itself. You can also add conditions. For example, I want to add a condition that the amount has to be greater than 10,000. Otherwise, I do not require an approval. I need a status column to be in my list. This is a column that the approval process automatically maintains the value in to signify which stage of the approval the item is currently in. I'm creating a new one because there's nothing there yet, but you can also reuse an existing column. And I can also customize this stage names. So if you don't like, for example, rejected, you want to replace it with a decline or something like that, you can do it easily without reconfiguring the whole system. You can also log the item during the approval process and after it's been approved. That means that the item is not editable. The item will be read-only, even if you go into the edit form. And that is done to prevent any changes while the item is already undergoing the approval. Now here, the approvers, I can select multiple approvers. I can select users, I can select groups, and I can even select columns. For example, I have a manager column for each item. There could be a different manager. So I'm just going to select that column here, and the value that is in that column for this particular item, that's the approver that I'm going to send to. I can give how many days I want the approver to give the result. And we'll talk about the reminders in a second. We support both sequential and parallel approvals. And in parallel approvals, you can also say that the first person to respond, that's the approval. That's also an option. I can customize the buttons that appear on the form, approve and reject button. You can give it any labels. You can also give multilingual labels, so they will appear in different languages for different people. I can also specify how I want the rejection to work. I can say, okay, so if someone rejects, we are going to be resuming after revision, which means that we stay in the same stage. We do a back and forth with that approver until we get to the point where they can approve, and we continue next. Or if it's a very strict process, I can say any rejection is final, and we have to restart the whole process from the beginning. Same with comments, can be optional, can be required. We can also specify and customize the emails that go out from the system. We can specify our own subject line. We can create our own body, and you can see that's a full rich text. You can create a very nice looking email. You can reference columns from the list here. So you can say, okay, I want the subject line to contain the title of the item and so on. And I can also specify who it's coming from. It according to your organizational restrictions. This is basically one of your authorized senders. So we have an email that goes out when someone is assigned to be an approver, so asking them to approve. There's going to be a reminder if they haven't approved yet. So, for example, I can say, I want the reminders to start 2 days before the due date, which we set before here. And then they will repeat every day here up to 5 times. And we're going to send those reminders at 9 a.m. We can also copy the submitter so they know that that's where we are stuck currently. And that's basically it. We have the full flexibility of when to start the process, automatically or manually. We have a full flexibility of who the approvers are, how many approvers there are, and even take the approver from the dynamically from the item itself. And the most important thing is that we keep a full log of all the stages and when the emails went out, when the approval was given, when rejection was given, what were the comments, and so on. So we always have it in the context of the item itself. So the whole process takes literally a couple of minutes to set up, and it's ready to go with all the reminders and with all the functionality here. That's all there is to it. You can install a 30-day trial of Ultimate Forms, and as always, don't forget to subscribe to our channel.